to the top 15 haunted places in Utah. A journey into a land where rugged mountains, desolate deserts, and historic towns hide chilling secrets. From crumbling ghost towns to elegant mansions filled with whispers of the past. These locations are steeped in mystery, tragedy, and tales of restless spirits. Each stop on this list pulls you deeper into Utah's haunted history, where every creak, shadow, and echo might not be just your imagination. One, McCune Mansion, Salt Lake City. On a quiet hill in downtown Salt Lake City stands the Grand McCune Mansion, a red-bricked masterpiece built in 1901 for railroad tycoon Alfred McCune. By day, it radiates elegance, its carved staircases and stained glass glowing with old-world charm. But when night falls, the atmosphere shifts, corridors feel colder, footsteps echo without a source, and an unsettling stillness grips the air. Guests and staff whisper of spectral figures, the most famous. A little girl in a white dress, her face pale and distant, often spotted at the top of the grand staircase before vanishing into the shadows. Others report a man in a dark cloak lingering in the ballroom, watching silently from the corner as music boxes begin to play on their own. In 2012, local news outlets covered the mansion's haunted tours, where dozens of visitors confirmed unexplained drafts, flickering lights, and sudden touches on the shoulder when no one was behind them. Even historians guiding the tours admit to doors slamming shut and chandeliers swaying, though the air is still. Today, the mansion is a popular wedding venue, but brides and grooms sometimes speak of icy whispers in their ears during vows. Is McCune Mansion simply a jewel of historic architecture, or is it forever bound to the restless spirits that still roam its halls? 2. Devoe Mansion, Salt Lake City. At the edge of downtown Salt Lake City stands the elegant Devoe Mansion, once a glittering social hub in the late 1800s where politicians, generals, and railroad tycoons gathered under golden chandeliers. By day, the house gleams with Victorian charm, but when night settles, its ornate halls seem alive with secrets. Visitors tell of a stern woman in period clothing, believed to be the spirit of a former matron, who glares at strangers. Her presence so heavy that some staff refuse to enter certain rooms alone. More unsettling is the apparition of a young girl, said to dart through the kitchen and giggle in the empty corridors, leaving behind faint echoes of laughter, reports of cold spots, objects moving without explanation, and phantom footsteps on the grand staircase have become so frequent that the mansion was featured in multiple local investigations and highlighted in historic preservation tours as one of Utah's most haunted landmarks. Even official event guides have admitted that lights flicker and doors slam, despite careful maintenance, though it now hosts weddings and private gatherings. Many guests leave with the same uneasy question: are they celebrating among echoes of history, or in the company of restless souls that never left? 3. Old Toole Hospital Asylum. 49. Toole, once a modest county hospital built in the early 20th century. The Old Toole Hospital has earned a reputation as one of Utah's most terrifying sights. Its long, dim hallways and peeling walls seem to breathe with memories of the sick and the dying. After the hospital closed, it briefly became a nursing home, and later, the notorious Asylum 49 haunted attraction. But what unsettles visitors isn't the staged scares, it's the real ones. Former patients are said to linger here. A man in a cowboy hat has been spotted roaming the corridors, while a shadowy nurse is seen pushing an invisible gurney down the old surgery wing. Paranormal groups who investigated have captured chilling EVPs, disembodied voices calling for help, or whispering names. In 2006, the Two-Wheel Transcript Bulletin reported on local tours where participants described being touched by unseen hands, dragged toward locked rooms, or even momentarily separated from their groups by invisible forces. Some staff swear they hear the ringing of call bells from rooms that have been vacant for decades. Today, thrill seekers enter Asylum 49 expecting staged horror, but many leave convinced they brushed against the restless souls of those who never walked out alive. Would you dare step inside, knowing the darkness may be more real than the show? 4. Mercur Cemetery. Two-Whale County High in the Oquirrh Mountains lies the lonely Mercur Cemetery, the last remnant of a once thriving gold mining town that was abandoned after devastating fires and economic collapse in the early 1900s. The cemetery itself, windswept and overgrown with sagebrush, holds the graves of miners, children, and entire families who never escaped the harsh frontier life. Locals claim the atmosphere changes as soon as you step through the gates. Air turns heavy, the wind seems to whisper, and shadows linger longer than they should. Visitors have reported ghostly lanterns bobbing among the headstones, believed to be the restless miners still searching for a way home. Some say they hear the faint sound of picks striking rock, echoing from beneath the earth, or the sorrowful cry of a mother calling out for her lost child. In 2010, the Deseret News covered a preservation effort and noted the cemetery's haunted reputation, citing hikers who felt watched or saw figures vanishing among the graves. Paranormal investigators later captured strange orbs and unexplained temperature drops in broad daylight. Today, Mercur Cemetery stands as both a historical site and a place of dread, an abandoned resting ground where the silence is rarely empty. Could it be that the ghosts of Mercur refuse to be forgotten, clinging to the last piece of their vanished town? 5. Kay's Cross, Kaysville. Hidden deep in the woods of Kay's Hollow once stood Kay's Cross, a massive stone crucifix built in the mid-20th century under mysterious circumstances. Locals whispered it was tied to a secret cult, its members performing strange rites at the site. When night fell, the forest around the cross grew unnervingly still, and those brave enough to approach spoke of an oppressive energy pressing down on them. Some claimed to see spectral figures moving among the trees, while others described sudden, searing pain as if something unseen had touched them. In 1992, the Salt Lake Tribune reported that the cross had been destroyed in an unexplained explosion. Yet even in ruins, the legend only grew stronger. Paranormal investigators who visited afterward recorded unexplained static, glowing orbs floating between the broken stones, and voices whispering through the static of their equipment. To this day, hikers say they feel watched when passing through the hollow, their dogs refusing to enter the area. Kay's Cross may no longer stand tall, but the fear it once inspired lingers like smoke in the trees. Was it simply a relic of eccentric design, or a gateway that still binds something darker to the forest? 6. Union Station, Ogden. Once the bustling heart of railroad travel in northern Utah, Ogden's Union Station now stands as a museum and event center, but its past refuses to stay buried. Built in 1924 after a fire destroyed the original depot, the station has seen countless arrivals and departures, some ending in tragedy. Visitors report a woman in a flowing dress drifting silently across the grand lobby before vanishing into thin air, while security guards have sworn to hearing footsteps echo across empty platforms long after closing. In the old baggage room, staff describe objects shifting on their own and a heavy, suffocating presence that drives them to leave quickly. Paranormal groups investigating the site captured unexplained voices on tape. One chilling EVP simply whispered, "I'm still waiting." Local news features and ghost tours in Ogden regularly highlight Union Station as a hotspot, citing staff testimonies of shadowy figures watching from the second-floor balcony. Even in daylight, many say the building feels haunted by the restless souls of travelers who never reached their destination. When the last train departs and silence fills the tracks, does Union Station truly sleep, or do its forgotten passengers still linger, waiting for a ride that will never come? 7. Mountain Meadows Massacre Site, Southern Utah. Nestled in a quiet valley ringed by sagebrush and rolling hills, the Mountain Meadows Massacre Site appears peaceful at first glance, but beneath its silence lies one of the darkest chapters in Utah's history. In September 1857, a wagon train of emigrants from Arkansas was ambushed. Over 100 men, women, and children were brutally killed. Locals say the land has never healed. Visitors often describe an overwhelming sorrow washing over them, as if the ground itself mourns. Some claim to hear the faint cries of children carried on the wind, or see spectral figures moving slowly among the memorial stones. Park rangers and travelers alike have noted sudden cold gusts, even on scorching summer days. In 1999, the Salt Lake Tribune ran a feature on the site, acknowledging both its historical weight and the persistent reports of hauntings from those who stopped to pay respects. Paranormal investigators have documented strange mists appearing in photographs and the unexplained sound of gunfire echoing faintly across the valley, though today it stands as a memorial to the victims. Many who visit leave with the same unsettled question: are the echoes of that tragedy merely memory or restless spirits crying out for justice? 8. Cove Fort Historic Site, Beaver County, built in 1867 by Ira Hinckley under direction of Brigham Young. Cove Fort was meant to be a safe haven for weary travelers along the Mormon corridor. Its thick lava rock walls still stand, a fortress against time. But visitors say something else lingers within. Guests touring the preserved rooms often report a chill settling over them as they step inside, as though unseen eyes watch from the corners. Guides have told of doors creaking open on their own, the faint clatter of dishes in the empty kitchen, and even whispers echoing through the stone halls when no one else is nearby. Some visitors claim to see the ghostly figure of a pioneer woman standing by the hearth, while others sense the presence of children running in the courtyard. Long after dark, in 2001, the Deseret News highlighted stories from travelers who felt cold hands brush against theirs during historical tours, experiences so vivid they refused to return. Paranormal investigators who explored the fort detected abrupt temperature drops and strange audio anomalies that defied explanation. By daylight, Cove Fort is a proud piece of frontier history, but at night, its shadows suggest it may still shelter those who never truly left. Could its walls be guarding more than just history? 9. Lion House, Salt Lake City. Built in 1856 for Brigham Young and his large family, the Lion House still stands on South Temple Street, its stone walls crowned with the famous carved lion that gave it its name. By day, it welcomes guests for dinners and weddings. But after dark, the mansion's cheerful facade takes on a chilling aura. Former staff whisper about unexplained footsteps echoing down the hallways, the sound of heavy skirts brushing past when no one is there. Guests report sudden drafts sweeping through the dining rooms, followed by the faint scent of old perfume lingering in the air. Several employees have even spoken of a pale figure glimpsed on the staircase, only to vanish the moment they approach. According to a 2013 Deseret News feature, paranormal activity in the Lion House has become so commonly discussed that some tour groups now highlight it as one of Salt Lake's haunted landmarks. Even brides and grooms hosting receptions there have shared uneasy encounters, lights dimming without cause, disembodied whispers during vows. Though the Lion House stands as a cherished relic of Utah's pioneer past, many believe the echoes of Brigham Young's household still linger in the halls. Are these simply tricks of memory, or the restless spirits of a family that refuses to fade? 10. Alta Club, Salt Lake City. Founded in 1883, the Alta Club quickly became the gathering place for Utah's elite politicians, bankers, and railroad magnates who shaped the city's future. Its grand halls and wood-paneled rooms still exude wealth and tradition, yet countless visitors describe an atmosphere far heavier than simple history. Staff working late have reported hearing muffled coughing in the smoking lounge, only to find the room empty. Others swear they catch the strong scent of lilacs or violets drifting through locked corridors, a fragrance tied to a tragic tale of a member who allegedly died in his sleep after dropping a lit cigar. Guests at private dinners have spoken of shadowy figures seated at tables long cleared, their outlines shimmering like smoke before fading into the dark. In 2015, the Salt Lake Tribune published an article noting the club's reputation as one of Salt Lake's most haunted institutions, citing members who admitted to avoiding certain wings after nightfall. Paranormal groups claim to have recorded strange whispers and unexplained cold spots, particularly in the basement where servants once worked. Today, the Alta Club remains an exclusive retreat for Utah's powerful, but its spectral residents may remind every visitor that influence and wealth cannot escape the grip of death. Could it be that the city's past rulers still linger, guarding their legacy from beyond the grave? 11. Antelope Island State Park, Great Salt Lake. At sunset, Antelope Island glows golden against the waters of the Great Salt Lake. But when night falls, the atmosphere shifts into something far more unsettling. Hikers and campers tell of hearing footsteps trailing them along empty paths, or spotting shadowy figures standing motionless on the shoreline before dissolving into mist. The most infamous legend centers on Jean-Baptiste, a 19th century gravedigger exiled to the island after it was discovered he robbed corpses of their clothing and valuables. Guards claimed they left him shackled, but when they returned, he had vanished, his fate unknown. Since then, visitors insist they have seen a man in ragged clothes wandering the beaches, chains clinking faintly in the wind, his eyes hollow and accusing. In 2005, the Deseret News mentioned Antelope Island in a feature on Utah's haunted folklore, noting reports from campers who awoke to whispers outside their tents or the sound of someone pacing in the gravel. Rangers themselves admit the island carries an eerie energy, especially near old ranch buildings where doors slam in calm weather and lights flicker without power. Antelope Island may be celebrated for its wildlife and scenic beauty, but many leave believing it is also home to a restless spirit forever trapped in exile. Could Jean-Baptiste still be wandering, searching for redemption or revenge. 12. Moon Lake. Dutchesson County high in the Uinta Mountains lies Moon Lake, a pristine alpine reservoir surrounded by dense forests and jagged peaks. By day, it's a place of fishing and quiet reflection. But at night, the lake becomes the heart of chilling legends. Campers have long whispered about ghostly children who drowned in its cold waters, figures seen playing along the shoreline before vanishing beneath the surface. Some describe a young woman in a tattered dress rising from the waves, her face pale and dripping, eyes filled with sorrow. Fishermen have claimed to hear faint sobbing carried across the still water, or to feel unseen hands tugging at their lines. Adding to the mystery is the tale of the Moon Lake Monster, a dark shape said to swim just below the surface, leaving ripples that vanish as quickly as they appear. In 2011, the Salt Lake Tribune reported on the eerie reputation of the lake, citing hikers who refused to camp near it after hearing screams echoing through the trees. Paranormal groups have recorded sudden temperature drops and mysterious splashes when the water was perfectly calm. Moon Lake's beauty hides its darkness well, but visitors often leave wondering, are the ripples just fish stirring the depths, or the restless dead pulling you toward the water's edge? 13. Winter Quarters, Schofield area. Nestled near Schofield Reservoir lies the ghostly remnant of Winter Quarters, once a booming coal mining town that met tragedy on May 1, 1900, when a massive explosion tore through the mine, killing 200 men and boys in one of the deadliest mining disasters in U.S. history. The town never recovered, and today, little remains but weathered gravestones and the whispers of the past. Visitors walking through the old cemetery often report hearing the clang of picks and shovels echoing from underground, as if the miners are still at work. Others describe seeing shadowy figures dressed in soot-stained clothing, their faces obscured, lingering between the crumbling headstones. In 2000, the Deseret News revisited the site for the disaster's centennial, noting families and historians who spoke of its haunted reputation, stories of strange lights glowing over the graves, and mournful cries drifting across the valley at dusk. Paranormal teams investigating the area have captured chilling audio of men calling out orders, followed by sudden bursts of static. Though Winter Quarters is now little more than ruins and memories, the weight of its tragedy hangs thick in the air when the wind howls through the canyon. Some swear it carries the voices of those miners, forever trapped in the moment disaster struck. Could it be that the town itself refuses to rest, bound by sorrow and unfinished work? 14. Home of Truth Ghost Town, Commune, San Juan County. In the barren desert of southeastern Utah lies the crumbling remains of the Home of Truth, a short-lived commune founded in the 1930s by spiritual leader Marie Ogden. She promised her followers enlightenment and even the power to conquer death, drawing dozens to this isolated settlement. But soon, unsettling rumors spread, one involving a woman who died within the community. Rather than bury her, Ogden insisted she was only in a state of spiritual transition, keeping the body while her disciples performed daily rituals in hopes of resurrection. Visitors today say the air around the abandoned cabins feels charged, heavy with secrecy. Hikers report strange lights flickering in the desert night, and the sensation of being watched from the shadows of collapsed buildings. In 1993, the Salt Lake Tribune published a retrospective on the cult, recounting the chilling tale of the preserved body and the commune's ultimate collapse. Paranormal investigators who later explored the site described unexplained equipment malfunctions, phantom voices caught on tape, and sudden icy winds sweeping through the ruins, though the desert air was still. Now, only broken foundations and scattered relics remain, but many believe the home of truth still holds echoes of desperate faith, unanswered prayers, and a spirit that never found release. Could the desert itself be keeping the secret of a promised resurrection gone terribly wrong? 15. Portland Cement Factory, Fear Factory, Salt Lake City. On the outskirts of Salt Lake City stands the hulking remains of the old Portland Cement Factory, now infamous as the Fear Factory. Built in the early 20th century, it was once a bustling industrial site where countless workers labored in choking dust and deafening noise. But tragedy marked its history: accidents in the towering kilns, fatal falls from catwalks, and men crushed beneath heavy machinery. When the factory closed, the ruins became a playground for urban explorers, who soon spread tales of terrifying encounters, disembodied voices whispering in the tunnels, shadowy figures darting between rusted beams, and the sensation of being grabbed by unseen hands. In 2012, the Salt Lake Tribune covered its rebirth as a haunted attraction, noting that even seasoned staff admitted to real paranormal experiences, doors slamming shut, machinery creaking to life, though long disconnected, and icy drafts rushing through sealed corridors. Paranormal teams investigating the site have recorded chilling EVPs, including one that seemed to echo a man's scream from deep inside the silos. Today, the Fear Factory is one of Utah's most popular haunted destinations, but many insist the scares aren't just staged. Could it be that the restless spirits of workers lost to industry still stalk the ruins, forever bound to the machines that claimed their lives? Closing hook. These 15 haunted places remind us that Utah's beauty hides a darker side, where echoes of the past still linger in silence. Whether it's a tragic massacre site, a forgotten cemetery, or a mansion with ghosts that refuse to leave, each location leaves behind more questions than answers. The only real mystery now is, would you dare to visit them yourself and face whatever waits in the shadows?